Hey guys, it's Christy with Christy's Custom Creations, and with Valentine's Day very fast approaching, I figured let's make a Valentine's Day tumbler. So I made this tumbler here using the Tack It method. I did an ombre with 4 different glitter colors, and then we did a peekaboo over that. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm getting started with a 30-ounce skinny tumbler, and I have used this, it's a magenta satin Rust-Oleum paint. And I used it, I spray painted it, it is completely dry, and I've got some Eileen's Tack It over and over. So I've got 2 medicine cups. One, I put just a little bit of water in, and I'm gonna grab a popsicle stick here. So I'm gonna take my Tack It, and I'm going to put just a little bit of Tack It into this first medicine cup. And then I'm going to take a tiny bit of water, and I'm going to put it into the Tack It. So I used to do like a half and half mixture, a 1-to-1 mixture, Tack It and water. But I've found that I like to make it a little bit thicker, because by making it thicker, I find that I get better coverage with my glitter, the Tack It method, on my tumbler. So you can kind of see the consistency here. It just thins it up a little bit, makes it easier to brush onto the tumbler. So I'm going to take my paintbrush. I got my paintbrush on Amazon. I'll have my brushes linked down in the description box below. And I'm just going to coat my tumbler here really good. Make sure your paint is completely dry before you do this step. Let it dry for a couple hours. It's really going to depend on the temperature outside and your climate and everything, but I let this one dry for a couple hours and then it was ready to go. So I am just brushing it on, and as you see, I'm going to smooth it down. You don't want streaks or globs of the Tack It anywhere. You want it to be super nice and smooth. I'm going to work on the bottom here just a little bit, because if you have globs on it or if it's streaky, it's going to show underneath your glitter later. All right, so you can see it's on there nice and smooth. I'm going to go ahead and take my heat gun and just speed up the process a little bit. You don't want to burn your paint or burn your tumbler. Don't have it too hot. I've just got it on a low heat setting, and I'm going over my tumbler. A hair dryer, something like that works great for this too, but I'm just going over it, and I am just helping it dry. Once it's clear, it's dry. Now the important part for using the Eileen's Tack It over and over is it remains sticky, it remains tacky. So using Mod Podge or something like that won't work for this. That's why you got to use the Eileen's Tack It over and over. So as you can see, it's dry. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to do a second coat of the Tack It. I always like to do a second coat of the Tack It, because just like I like to make my Tack It mixture thicker, by doing a second coat, I find that I get so much better glitter coverage. Now, because I make my Tack It mixture thicker and I do 2 coats, it does make it harder to rub the glitter down in the long run. However, you can't see the paint underneath whenever I do it this way. That's why I do it this way. It's a little bit more work. I rub my fingers to the bones just about doing it, but it looks prettier in the long run for me. This is how it works out for me. All right, so now that I've got it nice and smooth, I'm just going to let it dry. As you can see, it is wet, so it is white. I just let it air dry this time. So these are the 4 colors I'm using. I've got Rose Petal, Juliette, Pucker Up, and Love Potion. And these 4 colors are holographic fine glitters. They're from my glitter line, KCC Glitter. You can find them at kccglitter.com. And I am going to do a 4-color ombre here. So I'm going to start off with Rose Petal up top. And what I'm going to do, I'm just kind of mapping it out. So I'm going to keep all 4 of my colors separate from each other for right now, until I start trying to ombre them together. So Rose Petal was up on top, and I want Love Potion down on the bottom. So because I'm doing them separate, I'm just gonna kind of map it out a little bit at first. Rose Petal down here Love Potion down here on the bottom. And y'all, this Love Potion is absolutely stunning. Love Potion and Pucker Up are probably 2 of my favorite fine holographic glitters that I have. They are stunning, absolutely stunning. So the next one I'm going to go in with here, I think I went in, let's see, this one is Juliette. Yes, I'm gonna go in with Juliette now. And as you can see, I'm keeping it away from the color above it. I'm keeping it away from Rose Petal. So I will start ombreing them together here in just a bit. I'm just working through my base first. I'm mapping it out first. And that is the most important part, in my opinion, to doing an ombre. So you can see I'm kind of like pausing a little bit here and there in the video. It's because I'm also live in my Facebook group while I'm doing this tutorial. I'm going through this tutorial with my Facebook group as well. So all right, so now I'm gonna start working the colors together. So I've got my tumbler tilted down, and I'm very, very lightly sprinkling my rose petal onto it so that it just slowly crawls down towards the Juliette color. And then I'm tilting my cup the other way and letting Juliette flow up into the rose petal. And as you can see, they're starting to mix together. And don't get in a rush with it. I work on one color and then I go and I work on another color. So now we've got pucker up, and I'm going to merge it. I think I'm going up into Juliette here. I'm just slowly working my colors, and that is the most important thing about doing an ombre. Be patient with it, and you can make beautiful ombres. So now I'm going back in with Juliette, and I'm working it down into the color pucker up. So now it is time to go in with Love Potion, and y'all, I mentioned this color is gorgeous. This color is so pretty, especially when it's done with the Tack It method and it's nice and smooth and shiny. All four of these colors are holographic colors, and they are stunning. So as you can see, I'm going back to pucker up. Now I'm going to work pucker up down into the Love Potion color here. So just be patient with it. Do a little bit at a time, and y'all have got this. Make sure you tilt your cups so that they flow nicely. So now I'm gonna go in, now that I've got my colors like really laid out, I'm gonna go in and I'm just going to just put a lot on there. I'm right there where that color is. I wanna make sure I've got really good coverage. Go in on each different color and just, as Jessica Flynn would say, let her rip. So just pour it on there really well, and you can see how well those colors really, really come together. Going in with Love Potion again, merging it up into the pucker up, and then lastly, there you go. Look how pretty that is. It looks so good. So now for the Tack It method, we're going to basically rub that glitter down. For doing 2 coats of Tack It and making it a little bit thicker, like I said, I really had to put in some work here, but it was so worth it in the long run because I got great coverage. I have heard, I didn't do it, but I have heard that a pool noodle works really good for rubbing that glitter down. I've also heard that a paper towel roll works really good. I just use my fingers. Maybe during the summertime when the dollar store has some pool noodles in stock, I'll give it a try. But look at that holographic look this cup gets as the glitter starts to lay down. It is so pretty. I worked on this for a long time. I had a nice chat with my Facebook group while I was doing this tutorial. We were on Facebook Live for the longest time, and I did 2 days of it. I did this part of it yesterday, and then today I did the second part of it live with my Facebook group as well. They are so much fun. If you haven't checked it out, my Facebook group is linked down in the description box below. Also, I do want to go ahead and mention I am going to do a coupon code for kccglitter.com for this video. If you watch this video here, you have a special 15% off coupon code for kccglitter.com if you want to get your hands on this glitter. The coupon code is going to be mine. It goes right along with Valentine's Day. It's going to be BEMINE, all one word, be mine. So I'm just going to continue to work on this glitter here. I'm going to let y'all just watch and enjoy the background music. All right, so you can see how big of a difference it makes. See how everywhere is laid down except right here. I still got to work on that area, but that makes such a big difference when you rub those areas down. And that is what makes the Tack It method look so incredibly awesome. All right, so here is the cup with all of the glitter rubbed down. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And I took a 2X Rust-Oleum clear 2X, and I spray paint. I like to use the gloss. Here it is right here. And I sprayed it down really good and let it completely dry before epoxy. I like to use the Rust-Oleum 2X clear gloss because it helps keep my epoxy, helps keep the glitter from repelling the epoxy. Sometimes if your glitter is super smooth, it can try to repel that epoxy a little bit. That just helps to prevent it. So now I have got 30 milliliters of Tumbler epoxy mixed up here for my tumbler that I am applying with a gloved hand. Make sure you always use PPE, personal protection equipment, when working with epoxy. Also, I do want to mention, if you haven't tried Tumbler epoxy out, I do sell the 16-ounce kits on my website if you wanted to give it a shot. It's a great little starter kit, a tester kit, if you don't want to buy a big giant thing of it. So I'm just getting really good coverage on my tumbler. I got epoxy all over, and then I start with one finger at the bottom and I push up my tumbler as it spins around, and I just smooth that epoxy out, and then I give the bottom a good swipe. Don't forget your bottom. And now I have got my little blowtorch, and I'm just torching the cup. You want to move really quick. Don't sit in one spot too long. Just torch the cup as it spins. That pops any micro bubbles, and it helps the epoxy just lay super smooth. All right, I let that dry completely. I'd let it dry for about 10 hours or so, and I'm just going in with some sandpaper. This is 220 grit sandpaper. I have it linked down in the description box below. It's got a sticky adhesive back to it. And I just sanded out any spots that were just slightly rough. You have to have a super nice, smooth tumbler before we do the peekaboo method. So now here I have got some 651 vinyl. I use 651 vinyl because it is what I have. I have a lot of it, but it is considered permanent vinyl. If you wanted to use a temporary vinyl, like I think it's 631 vinyl, you can. It makes it a lot easier in the weeding process down the road. But I use 651 vinyl because it's what I have. I don't have any 631. I use 651. But if you do use 651, just make sure that you peel it the same day that you apply it. Don't peel it, or don't apply it, spray paint your cup, and then wait a couple of days to remove it, because you're gonna have a sticky mess to try to remove later on. So I found this heart design. It was a heart bundle on Etsy. It had like 80 hearts or something like that in the bundle, and I just went through and picked out my favorite ones, and I am now weeding them. I will link this heart bundle in the description box below in case you want to get the same hearts. I thought it was a super cute design, so I went with it. Initially, I had wanted to wrap the tumbler. I found this cute design on Etsy that I really liked, and I wanted to wrap the tumbler. I bought it, and y'all, the design just did not work out. It didn't work. So I'm not going to mention that design because I don't want to put anybody down. It just didn't work out for me. So we went ahead and went with the hearts instead, and it worked out great. I'm really glad I did because I love it. And I do want to mention, you see I've got my cut mat laid down here. I find it so much easier when I'm weeding a design, especially a design that's a little bit more detailed. I like to set it on my cut mat because it keeps my vinyl in place, and it just makes it a lot easier for me to manage. So this design here, it says like Cupid's Brewing Company potions, something like that. It's really cute, or Love Potion or something. And I found this on Etsy as well, and I will also have that link down in the description box below. So I've got my weeding tool. I love my weeding tool here. It came in a pack of 4 different weeding tools. This is my preferred one. It's a hook. It's kind of like when you go to the dentist and they scrape your teeth. So it's kind of like that, but it's my favorite weeding tool. I got it on Amazon, and I will have that link down in the description box below as well. So this is my design. It is all done, and I just placed my decal, my Cupid's Brewing Company, back in place on my cut mat so that I could put my transfer tape on the entire thing all at one time. And also, do y'all see my silicone mat underneath there? My KCC Glitter silicone mat. How awesome is that? So I believe we're going to release that silicone mat this upcoming Wednesday. I love silicone mats. I like using them underneath my turners because they catch any epoxy, and then later on you can just pick the epoxy right off. They also help to keep glitter under control. So if you spill a little bit of glitter, instead of your glitter kind of just like floating all over the place, it grabs it. So that's what I love the silicone mats for, but I will have those on my website coming up here on this upcoming Wednesday with our newest glitter release. All right, so now that I have got my images that I'm going to use for Peekaboo, I've got my vinyl covered in my transfer tape. I am going to go ahead and put down my big decal first, and then we will place the hearts randomly around it. So I cut my decal here with my Silhouette Cameo 4. I have the pink Silhouette Cameo 4. I absolutely love it. But I cut this here to be 3.5 by 3.5. It worked out really good size-wise for this tumbler. If you have a smaller tumbler, I would definitely adjust that sizing. If you have like a 20-ounce tumbler, I'd probably go down to about a 3-inch decal size. But for this tumbler here, this 30-ounce, 3.5 by 3.5 was absolutely perfect. So I've got my squeegee tool. I'm just going to rub it down really good, make sure that it is on the cup really well. What I love about the squeegee tool is it's got felt on the end, so it doesn't scratch my vinyl, and it just really gets in there and helps that vinyl lay down really well. All right, y'all, look how awesome this image looks on there. And actually this color actually looked pretty cool with the pinks. This color vinyl, it's kind of like a mint color. I really like how it looked with it, but yeah, we're gonna cover it up, spray paint it, and peel it off, so it really doesn't matter. So now I'm just going to cut out all of these hearts individually, and I'm going to just go around and randomly place them on the cup. I made these hearts kind of all different sizes. They're approximately about 1 inch, maybe just slightly bigger, but just all different sizes, and just kind of eyeball it. You don't have to be perfect with it. All right, so like I said, I'm figuring out what heart I like for what area, and I'm just going around and randomly placing them all over the cup. And I want to take just a minute to remind everybody that this tutorial here does have a KCC Glitter coupon code. The coupon code is good for 15% off, and coupon code is BEMINE, 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 in celebration of Valentine's Day. And that is going to remain an active coupon code. It's going to be good for one use only. So per customer, one use only per customer. So check it out if you want to get your hands on these 4 colors. These 4 colors are absolutely amazing. We have some other awesome holographic colors on the website as well. All right, so I think I'm finally happy with how this looks. Look how cute this is. It's going to be so hard to cover up this glitter. So this is just some flat black by Krylon. I personally prefer to use Rust-Oleum. I'm having a hard time finding Rust-Oleum right now at my local store, so I gave it a good coat of black spray paint over it, and once that was completely dry, let it completely dry. You're going to very, very carefully weed off that vinyl that you have put on the tumbler. So pulling up vinyl for a peekaboo tumbler is so incredibly satisfying for me because I love seeing the design just kind of unfold as you peel the vinyl, and I love seeing the glitter come through. This made for a really, really beautiful peekaboo tumbler. So now I'm working on all these little areas in the Cupid's Brewing Company logo. So this thing I just put on my finger, it really helps when you've got little bitty pieces of vinyl that are wanting to stick to your weeding tool or stick to your finger. It really helps to grab those tiny pieces of vinyl. So the ones that, like the little dots and stuff like that, little bitty dots, little hearts, I'm just taking those and I'll put them into that, I don't know what it's called. It's like a little vinyl catcher, and you just put it in there and it just pulls the vinyl right off your weeding tool. It's super helpful for little small dots and small images. All right, look at that, y'all. That turned out so beautiful. I really like it like a matte black too. It looks really cool, but we're about to shine it up with the last coat of epoxy. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my turner, and I can't get over how pretty this cup is, but it is time to add epoxy. So I'm going to mix up 30 milliliters of Tumbler epoxy. This cup, I've only put 2 coats of epoxy on. I really like to have 3 coats of epoxy on a tumbler, so, but with the glitter, Tack It, and everything, the 2 coats ended up being just fine, but most of the time I do like to have 3 coats of epoxy on a tumbler just because it makes it a little bit, I feel like it protects it a little bit more. It could totally just be in my head, but I think that 3 coats definitely protects it a little better. So this, for tutorial purposes though, this tumbler only has 2 coats of epoxy on it. So for this last coat of epoxy, I am just smoothing this epoxy on, and I am going to make sure I get really good coverage over the entire cup. Look how shiny and beautiful that tumbler epoxy makes this cup. I love it. Y'all, I can't stop staring at this cup. I absolutely love it. So I'm just getting good coverage with my gloved hand. Don't forget the bottom down there. You always want to get your bottom as well. Sometimes it's easy to forget. But I'm just going to get all my epoxy on there. Once I get it all smoothed on, I'm going to start down at the bottom of the tumbler with one finger, and I'm going to swipe up the tumbler as it turns, just smoothing the epoxy out as it turns. All right, I've now got my blowtorch, and I'm just going to, again, torch this cup really quick. Y'all remember this is the last coat of epoxy going onto this cup, so you want it to be nice and perfect, but just move really quick and you'll see the little micro bubbles pop. Just pop all the micro bubbles, and it just really helps that epoxy lay down nice and smooth, because it is the final coat. We want it beautiful and shiny, and it is beautiful and shiny. I love me some tumbler epoxy. So I really hope y'all found this tutorial helpful. If you make this cup, I would love to see it in my Facebook group, Tumblers, Epoxy Pins, and More by Christie's Custom Creations. If you found this video helpful, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Also smash that little bell to be notified whenever I post more videos. And as always, I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.